Hey guys, welcome to another video. So I finally got a chance to go out this past weekend to shoot the X100V for the first of the summer festivals I like to do. There were two festivals. One was a night festival with lights in Ann Arbor. The other festival was in Ann Arbor as well. Part of their April Fools, if you will, foolish spring, the start of good weather type festivals, and that was on Sunday. So I wanted to go out and go ahead and try out the X100VI in a low light situation in the Friday festival, full moon, fool as in acting foolish, moon. And it was going to have folks dressed up in costumes with lights and so forth, and a lot of noise. It was a lot of noise once the crowd met. Changed it up a little from what I remember last year, but what I want to go ahead and show you guys is how the X100VI did shooting low light for the first of the two festivals over the weekend, and then give you my feedback on what I felt about the camera versus my experience with the X100V. So let's get to it. So the first thing I want to say as I start rolling through some imagery, video content, as well as images, I set the camera up to shoot it wide open at f2. You know, it's going to be low light. I'm going to go ahead and go to f2. And then I pretty much shot with it on auto ISO. It stayed around pretty much 6400 ISO as it started to get dark. And I kept my shutter speed at 1/25th to 1/60th of a second, because I knew the subjects that I was going to be shooting, I wouldn't have to worry about them moving too fast, and folks would absolutely pose for photos as well. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how it did as we got into golden hour. Golden hour, of course, it was fantastic. The lighting was fantastic, and the camera did a great job. As far as the film sim I use, I haven't set this camera up yet other than my noir or black and white setting. So it was set on standard. As far as the film sim, I didn't use Riela Ace. I wanted to basically shoot it as I would with standard and just see what the camera can do. Now, what you are looking at are raw images that I did some edits on, so I can see how well I can work with the 40 megapixel sensor in this camera with the same f2 lens as the previous model on the X100V. And to my delight, the camera, at least during the golden hour, was doing fantastic, and I expected it to. Another delight was the use of the camera with the setup I have. So as you guys will see, I had the X100VI with the adapter for the mic to go from the 2.5 to the 3.5, and then I wrapped the cord around the front of the lens and looped it to get it to connect to the Hollyland mic that I was using, and then of course put the wireless transmitter on my bag on the strap closer to my mouth, so that when I'm talking, hopefully you can hear a majority of me during the event. And so you can see from some of the videos, it was pretty loud. And there was a lot of people. At the conversion site. So they had 3 start locations, and they all converged on one location in downtown Ann Arbor, which was the best part of the night shooting for me. As it started to get dark, I decided to go ahead and have some fun seeing what the camera would do with the 40 megapixel and a dynamic range. I set mine to auto dynamic range, so it will float between 200 and 400 as it needs to, and I'm pretty happy with the way the auto works. So just to give you guys an idea of how I utilize the dynamic range on the camera, and whether I kept it at 400 or 200 or 100. I pretty much let the camera decide, and I think the images came out good. As far as the shutter, I was happy to keep it at 1/25th over a second for most of the time, but eventually moved it down to 1/60th of a second so that I can be able to handhold it and work with the IBIS. As I got into the more denser parts of the crowd, having it at a faster shutter didn't matter because people weren't moving very fast. So that helped me when it came to not really getting a lot of motion blur. Not to say I didn't mind motion blur in the video, in some of the images, and even in the video. Because it helps to show a more cinematic story of what I was doing at the event. And some of the costumes are great. I like how it rendered the lighting on the faces of folks. I like how it rendered the shadows and the blacks, basically using standard. I did add vivid on the preset and post on some of the images to help kind of bring out the colors of the lights of some of the costumes, the masks, paper mache, and the I guess you can call it paper puppets, if you will. And I think it did a fantastic job. At one point there was a DJ, or two, there was a DJ, I should say, oh not two, but one that was on the high-low. And I thought it did a great job capturing her face and giving me detail. She was more of a chocolate, a dark chocolate skin complexion, and the music she was playing was fantastic. So I'm gonna definitely put her info in the comments if I can find the card I got from them, and give her some pub because she was jamming with the house music. And folks was enjoying the music and having a blast. But I was really impressed with how well it captured the detail of the DJ in a low light scenario that it was in. I did bring the conversion lenses with me, the wide and the tele, and I usually go to the wide as my go-to in this situation because it was a lot of people, it's tight, and the wide did not disappoint. It opened up the frame for me and took it from that 35 to about a 28, I believe it is, millimeter, and I was able to capture more of the scene even though I was super close to people. And I think that ultimately was the icing on the cake, if you will. So if you are going to get any of the 100 series, I highly recommend you at least invest in the wide conversion lens to go from a 35 to a 28 to be able to capture more of the scene, especially when you're going to be up close in tight environment capturing your subjects. And it's just a fantastic add-on, if you will, to help add to the versatility of this camera. All in all, fantastic performance of the camera in low light. You guys let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about the images. Again, I shot it in RAW, and I think that I'm pretty happy, I can honestly say that, with its performance over the X100V. I had a lot more keepers. I kind of expected that with the use of the IBIS. I was a little concerned as far as the 40 megapixel sensor and how it would do with the low light, but it did phenomenal, especially the image it took of, or I took of, I should say, the DJ, and how well it rendered her beautiful dark skin. So there you go, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of how I did with the low light. Let me know if you would have changed the settings a little, or what you would have tried to do, if you would have used a conversion lens or just stuck to the 35 and tried to do your best, which I think you still could do with this lens, with this camera. And I'm really happy with the way the lens handled. Oh, there is one thing I need to say that I almost forgot about: the battery. So as you of course know, it's using the same battery as the previous model. I personally of course would have loved to see if they could have squeezed in the new battery that's in the XT5 and XH2 and 2S, as well as the GFX 102 and the GFX 100S. That battery is in a lot of the newer cameras, but the original battery did a great job. I only used one battery. I didn't have to change, so that was really nice. So next video, I'm gonna talk about the second outing on the weekend and how I used the JPEG. I really don't shoot JPEG, that much. And I want to let you guys know or show you guys that experience I had shooting JPEG and posting those JPEG on a video, and how I felt the camera worked in that. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments again. See you in the next video.